Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica Rivera and we're continuing on with the acting series that I'm putting together. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what is an acting resume? Why do you need one? What goes on it? What does not go on it? And again, why is it important to have? So an acting resume, aside from your headshot, aside from your demo reel, is going to be something else that casting directors look at to see basically, what have you even been in? It gives them a snapshot of pretty much where you're at before they even decide to click on your demo reel. And also, if you want to think of it this way, they may look at your headshot, like the way you look at your resume, it may not like your resume, and may not even bother to go to your demo reels. Also, the way an acting resume isn't exactly formatted in the same way that you would think of a traditional corporate resume, where you have whatever job, how long you've been at the job, and then a couple bullets of maybe what is pertinent to the job that you did. It is not like that. It is pretty straightforward, namely it should only be one page. I know with traditional resumes, it's typically 1 to 2 pages if you have a lot of experience, but it should only be 1 page of information. So typically if you are going in for an in-person audition, you're gonna have this resume typically stapled onto the back of your headshots. So I'm just going to start reading this off from top to bottom based off of my own resume. So first things first, and most importantly, you're going to have your full name at the top or whatever your stage name is. Simple, right? Next, you want to get into eye color, hair color, also union status. So if you're not familiar with what union status is, 9 times out of 10, that means you are probably non-union. So that just lets casting know whether or not you are part of the SAG-AFTRA union, or if you're SAG eligible, or if you are just non-union and you're working towards becoming SAG. You're also going to have your height and then just simple contact information, which would be your email and phone number. Each segment is going to be formatted slightly differently. Typically you have film and television. You may have film, short film, television, voice acting, etc., etc. Let me look at my resume real quick. Oh, of course, theater, and then training and skills. And that's typically how an acting resume would be formatted. They really honestly do not care the name of your character, maybe if it's in theater, but other than that, you're either a lead person or a supporting person, and that's pretty much it when it comes to acting. So when it comes to putting down your film stuff, and again, let me just look at my own resume, you're gonna have whatever project you were a part of, the name of the film. You could put supporting or lead, and then who the director is. Now, it does get a little bit different when it comes to television, because when it comes to television roles, there are essentially different tiers you're going to be looking at. They have what is most commonly known to most people. Let's say if you're talking of a show like Stranger Things. Everyone knows that Millie Bobby Brown is 11. She is what is called a series regular. A series regular, you're going to see primarily throughout the series. So you honestly can't have the show without the series regular, or it's very dramatic if they got cut or killed off in the show, whatever. So you will primarily have a series regular role is like the best thing to get in television. Then you have a co-star, which is fabulous, nothing wrong with that. And then you have guest star. Guest star is typically like you're only in the episode for that particular episode. You're not really a part of the entire series. And don't worry if you're someone that's like, I don't even have anything to put on my acting resume. You probably do, you just don't know it yet. And I would say for web series, it's relatively similar as well. You have your standalone characters that have to be a part of the production, otherwise there just is no story to tell. And then you have co-stars, guest stars, that type of thing. I know a newer thing that's popping up is the vertical format films. Basically, like little short films and movies and clips that are being used on different platforms. Think of them like TikToks. So far, what I'm hearing from other casting directors and even agents is that's something that should not go on your resume as of late. I know a lot of people have been making legitimate money from it, but it seems like it's almost being treated as something to just leave off. So it's really up to you. If you're someone that loves doing the vertical format films, by all means, rock and roll with it, make the money. But that's just the word on the street. Maybe by the time I upload this or a couple months down the line, that may change, because overall entertainment is changing. And then there's also a commercial segment. So Typically, as an actor, when you're looking for a little extra butter for your bread, you go to commercial auditions. So with the commercials, you're a principal or you're not. Like, there's going to be a main person. Think about any commercial you've watched. There's probably that one person that the whole thing focuses on, and there's a couple other essentially background characters. I've done a couple of commercials, and I've always been principal. I would say voiceover is going to be pretty similar to what it is for film and television. You're either going to be a lead character or you are not. You're supporting. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty simple. Everything repeats itself in one way or another. Really, for an acting resume, they're just trying to gauge whether or not you are the primary character, if you're not, and how well you did in your supporting and or lead role. Now, I would say it's only important to have the name of your character if you are a theater person. So I have some theater stuff from way back when, many moons ago, and I just put whatever the play was and then the name of my character and the year. For people that do not have any actual credits per se, you can at least start beefing up your acting resume by putting in some skills that you have. I should say the training. So let's say, because the thing with acting, it's like they're looking for people who aren't obviously just actors. Anyone can be a part of an acting school. Anyone can go join a theater troupe. Anyone can do that stuff, right? And say they do it for years, and you know what I mean? But they're looking for people that have maybe something a little bit different. Are you someone that knows how to speak a completely other language? Are you someone that used to be an avid soccer player, basketball player, hockey player even? Are you someone that was a ballet dancer? Are you skilled in certain types of dance and stuff? Also, if you are someone that has none of that as well, this is where you'd put any type of acting classes that you're in. Because at least if you have nothing but one single role that you made up for yourself, you can at least say, hey, but at least I've been doing some of these classes with this specific school. I remember beforehand, and this is something you're not supposed to do, I would put my background roles on my resume. So that's another thing I have to say absolutely should never go on your resume is anything background. You should not do what I did, because that was a bonehead thing to do, which is please do not put any type of background roles. You're not pertinent enough to the show to do that. Unless you happen to have something called getting upgraded on set, to which, of course, please do put that on your resume, because then you have, or should have, a professional contract and everything. At the very bottom, you can put some more special skills. I know, like, back in the day during COVID, it was super important to emphasize that you were vaccinated, because some people were being turned down for roles if they were not vaccinated, and also if they didn't have their booster. I don't think that's quite as necessary these days, but I still have it on there just so they know, I've been around since that, at least. If you are good at kickboxing, if you're a black belt, if you have a certain level skill of jiu-jitsu, anything like that makes you look super awesome and cool. It could also potentially lead into stunts as well, if that's maybe more of your passion when it comes to being on. This is also where you'd put little things like, if you have certain accents, if you could swim, even like being able to ride a bike is considered a special skill. It's kind of interesting, but you'd be surprised the little things like that give you a special skill. I know for myself, I have runway model experience, so I put that down there, and I've gotten a couple auditions just because of that. Here are a couple things I think you should absolutely not put on an acting resume and will not help you. So first and foremost, do not put your age or your birthday on your resume, because the big thing is, like, let's say if you're one of those people who are like 30 but you still look 18, you don't need your birthday on your resume to kind of put that against you. Another thing too is that your physical address is not needed. That's kind of awkward. I know sometimes for traditional resumes, you will put your entire address on there because it may help for jobs that are within your area or nearby, but that is not needed for this. Another thing too, do not put any type of survival jobs, or I guess I call them muggle jobs, on your resume. Don't think in lieu of actual acting credits you can put that you worked at Starbucks previously, because that really does nothing for anyone that's looking to cast you in something. I think there was one time where I did go in for an audition. It was for a callback for something, And they wanted people that had real work experience, and I just explained a little bit about my job, and that was enough. I didn't have to put that on my resume. Now, references will help you if you are looking to apply for an agency and they only accept industry referrals. I know a lot of people will try to just fill up their resume with all these like indie productions and things like that to kind of beef up their own ego in terms of being an actor, but really it comes to a point where, you know, they're looking to see like what type of actual certified industry credentials do you have? Have you been in any television shows? Have you been in any movies? Anything, even if it's a single word, even if it's a smaller role, that will outweigh anything. That was actually some information I got from one of my acting coaches as well, was that, you know, at first we saw her resume and we're like, oh my gosh, it looks so short. And she's like, well, yeah, no, because I've finally gotten to the point where I can just drop a lot of the smaller indie production, short films and things like that, and only have things that were, you know, certified productions, as in they were SAG, or just much more relevant in terms of how she wants to brand herself as an actor. Also, you don't need any photos or logos on your resume. That's what the headshot is for. It doesn't help if you have a resume and then you have like the teeniest little corner of the page is your headshot. So think of your acting resume as just a snapshot. It's just going to give you a quick glance of the things that you've done, the skills that you have, maybe even if you're kind of vetting yourself where you can improve, and essentially where it looks like you'd like to go in terms of acting. If you're someone that's huge on theater, I should see a whole bunch of theater productions on your resume. If you're someone who loves doing commercial work, yeah, let's get you into the room doing more commercial work. Or if you love film and television, you better be working hard as hell to try to get on film and TV sets. So that's just a little bit about what an acting resume is, what it does for you, and essentially why you need one. Do not lie on your resume and do not over-exaggerate what you can do. Keep it honest, keep it relevant, and keep it simple, because your resume is going to be what helps you get into the room, but your work will always speak for itself. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any other questions pertaining on what goes on a resume, how the heck should I format this, and things like that, or even if some of my tips have helped you when it comes to putting your resume together. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye!